Hey, welcome back to another Sunnyside design video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and if you have been following along and liked our Dollar Tree inspired Easter spring craft so far.
We got another one. And
you are not gonna want to miss this.
We're gonna make this
cute.
Classy. I would say more classy than, it's not gonna be like
not this
tinsel and a glitter nose.
No. So stay tuned because you're gonna freak out.
The supplies we used to make this Easter decoration was a 3D bunny decor from Dollar Tree, some small clay pots from Dollar Tree, and floral foam from Dollar Tree. We also used some Spanish and sheet moss. We used a 50-50 mix of moss, hot glue, and then you'll need a branch or a dowel. The first thing we need to do to make this bunny topiary is to remove the tinsel wrapping that is on that bunny decor from Dollar Tree. It just simply unwinds off of the little piece. So I've coated these little plastic frames with the bunny shape with some green paint, and that is so that when we go to put the moss on this, in case a little bit shows through, you won't see it. It's been painted green. I did use the spray paint because I thought it was easier just to spray it. You could also paint it with just an acrylic craft paint if you wanted to as well. If you've got one of those on hand, that will work. So I've got a little foam block. I picked these up at Dollar Tree as well. 4 come in a package. And I'm just going to mark, I'm going to press on here to mark where to cut. I'm just going to press it and then cut it. And I'm going to save this bottom part to stick it in my container for the stick for the topiary. And now we're just going to work this in to fit in between these two pieces. So I'm just going to press it and put the side on. This gives me an idea where to trim it a little bit still on the corners. I'm just going to squeeze it in there as far as I can, trying to get the plastic to meet up here. And then I'm just going to use some hot glue to secure it back together. And you can also just trim a little bit as you go, round off these corners a little bit. We want to fill it with this foam so that when we go and glue the moss on, it's got something to adhere to, because it would just be a big void we'd have to fill completely with moss. All right, so now I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and just put it around this edge. And I'm just going to hold it together until the glue cools. Just be careful you don't burn yourself. It's easy to burn yourself with that hot glue. It's going to come apart here, so do that top part again. So to make this little topiary, I'm going to use a combination of 2 mosses. I've got some Spanish moss that's dyed green, and then I also just have some sheet moss. And so what I'm going to do is take and break it into small pieces and mix it about half and half so that it's just in small little pieces to go on the little bunny topiary. So I'm just going to take the sheet moss, break it into little pieces. And this is a messy job. You've got the styrofoam is messy, the moss is messy. There's just kind of no way to get around that. It's going to be a messy job. Take about the same amount of Spanish moss. And this is a little harder to break, so we found that just cutting it with the scissors into little pieces works great for this. Just be prepared, you're gonna have to get out the vacuum when you're done making this little craft. But it's gonna be so cute, so cute. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of mix them up so I've got them equally dispersed. And the other thing with this little craft is you're going to find that you're going to use a lot of hot glue. It's going to take a lot of glue to make this work. Okay, so I'm just going to use you could use a flat box. I'm just going to use a sheet pan here, and I'm going to put some of my moss into the pan. Spread it out, and I'm going to begin with the ears on this little guy here, and I'm just going to use hot glue, and I'm going to put it around the edge. Put a little hot glue in the middle here, and then what I'm going to do is just press it into the moss, and then I'm going to take some moss and push it on the other side. Some of that glue is going to squeeze through to the other side, and this way you don't get burned and you're getting the moss on there. And then you can pick it up, kind of shake off anything that's loose. And then do the next section. So again, I just kind of go around the edge of that plastic frame and then fill it in. And then press it. By doing it this way, you don't burn your fingers. Then you can kind of shake off the excess, and then you can look and see where you've missed. So I'm going to do the back side of that ear before I come in, and right here you can see there's a little bit of that green plastic showing. I'll come back in and fill that after I do this side. So again, I'll just do about half of the ear at a time. A little bit here on the top, and then we'll fill in that rest of the ear. And it's already starting to look so cute. And doesn't moss just, the greenery from moss just make you think of spring anyway? A cute little bunny shape. Okay, so I've got a little spot right here. I'm gonna just add some right in that spot. When you do these little sections like this, just be careful you don't burn yourself. Nothing is worse than a hot glue burn. Okay, check if I've got. Okay, I seem to be covered all the way around on that ear now. So I'll just move on. I'm going to fill in both ears, and then I'll move to the body. So once again on the head portion of the bunny, I'm going to come down the little plastic ribbed areas, the glue, and then just put some on that styrofoam. And then just take a big bunch of it and kind of push it in. You can push it this way, just while it cools down. Okay, and then I'll just do the next section right below that. And basically that's it. We're just going to keep filling it in until both sides of this little bunny head are filled in with the two mosses.
If you're enjoying this little Easter craft tutorial, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more budget-friendly, cheap DIY ideas for creating a beautiful home.
So once the entire little bunny frame is covered, I just want to take some scissors and just kind of trim it up a little bit, make sure the ears look nice and separated so you can still tell that it's a bunny. That's what I'm looking for now. So just going to go around this guy, giving it a little bit of a haircut. All right, now we're just going to put it together on our little topiary stick and put it in a pot and put it out for Easter and spring. I think it could go for Easter or spring, or both. I've got about a spoonful of chalk paint in here with a little bit of water. And I'm just going to kind of thin down that chalk paint a little bit. And we're going to use this to whitewash some terracotta pots to just make them look aged a little bit for our little bunny topiaries. So I've got my thinned down white paint here, and it's pretty runny. I'm gonna put some on the brush. You can see that it drips off the brush. So I want to kind of dab it off, and then I'm going to blot it a little bit on the paper towel. And what we're going to do is take some terracotta pots. I picked up terracotta pots at Dollar Tree. There were 2 for $1. And what I want to do is do like a whitewash on these just to make them look a little bit summery. So I'm just going to take and brush on a little bit of the paint, and then I'm going to take a coffee filter and dip it in some water. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to kind of wash it down a little bit so it's not quite so white. So you can kind of see the effect I'm getting there now. I'll add some more paint. And you want to do this in little sections. If you try to paint the whole thing first, it's going to end up pretty solid even with your paint thinned down. Because of the clay pot being unsealed, it just sucks up that water super fast. So you'll want to just do it in little sections and then just kind of rub it and get the effect that you want. And even though I'm using chalk paint for this, you could use just your craft paints. You could use latex paint. It really doesn't matter. Any water soluble paint will work for this. And if we've got a little area where the clay pot's showing through a little bit more, I like that because it's giving it kind of that more aged and rustic look. I am going to do the rim as well. And then inside the pot, just maybe a 1/2 inch or so. Just so that once we fill it, we're gonna put a little moss in the bottom in the pot, but it will just help it to look more cohesive if it's even inside the pot a little bit. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. And now there should be practically no paint left in the brush. And now I'm just gonna lightly drag on and just make some streaking marks with the paint here and there. Okay, there is my whitewashed pot. The stick I'm going to use for our topiary, I just actually cut from a shrub out in my yard. You could use a dowel if you don't have access to that, and I cut it to about 9 inches long. So I placed my foam piece that was left over from actually making our little bunny topiary inside the little pots that we whitewashed. And then I'm just going to stick this in the center. Okay. And then we'll just place through that whole section into the styrofoam of the bunny's head, just like that. And now we'll just add a little bit of moss to the bottom and maybe a little Easter eggs and maybe a ribbon, just something to embellish it up a little bit.
We are loving the way this little topiary, the topiaries turned out. They look so pretty with the variegated greens. We've got the 2 different shades of green from the different mosses. And I think they look so cute on the shelves in my kitchen with my black and white Easter decor. And I think the green with that black and white is really chic and it just looks really pretty there. Is this something that you would like to try? Is this a craft or a tutorial that you're interested in trying? We'd love to hear from you. If you give it a try, please let us know how yours turns out. If you have any recommendations or suggestions, we would love to know. So please drop us a line in our comment section. You'll also find links to our social media and also to our website. And if you'd like to see what we're working ahead of time before it hits our blog or YouTube, please follow us on Instagram. You'll get a little sneak peek there. And as always here at Sunnyside Design, we hope to bring your home to the sunny side of the street.